Raiders leave Windy City with the loss, 30-12. Not what anyone expected. Welcome in, everybody, to Raiders Gameday. I'm Amber Theoharis, along with James Jones and Eric Allen. Look, this is not what anybody wanted to see. This was a team that the Raiders should have beaten, a 1-5 team. But the reality, fellas, is that they got beaten by Tyson Bagent, a Division II rookie undrafted quarterback. They couldn't run the ball, they couldn't defend the run, and they turned the ball over 3 times, if I could make a simple summary. There's a lot more to it than that.
I thought last year's loss to the Colts with Jeff Saturday was, pretty depressing. This is right up there with it.
Yeah.
There's no way that this should happen. We had better players. We had a better situation. We're on a 2-game roll. Just no way that this should have happened. This football team did not bring its A game, B game, C game on the road to Chicago.
Yeah, this is tough because this reminds me of last year. Nothing has changed. We were on a winning streak going into the Rams. We lost to Baker Mayfield and the Rams. You got to win these games.
Yeah. You got to win these games, and we'll break it down for you. And it all starts with 3 big things we're going to take a look at. The number one big thing, as I said, was Tyson Bagent. This was a guy that had never started an NFL game. I don't know if you've been to Shepherd College. It is a tiny little school, Division II, in the middle of West Virginia, and you have to give him credit. But the Bears' rushing attack was what really killed the Raiders. A backup running back. And
he didn't run like a backup today.
Looked good today, and Josh McDaniels, we're going to hear from him about the loss as the Raiders now fall to 3-4. There he is. Rookie out of West Virginia, had over 50 friends and family in the stands. And he would put on a show for them. Here's the Raiders' first possession from scrimmage. And Davante Adams said, I want the ball.
1-7.
They gave it to him. 11 yards right off the bat. 2nd and 8. Who they go to again? Davante, looking good early on.
We cooking right now. We cooking.
This is what we wanted to see.
Yeah, look what's happening when they get in the ball, though. Big plays. Missed opportunity right here, but.
Field goal. The drive stalls. Don't get the field goal. Daniel Carlson might have been hurt during this.
He's usually money.
He's usually money, especially from 41 yards out.
I think they had to take the 3 points off the board. They already put him up there. Take it off.
Bears' next possession. Here's Tyson Bagent. Looking good early on to Tyler Scott for 13 yards. First down, Bears. 3 plays later, Tyson Bagent, you know what? They liked him, Matt Eberflus, because he can run like Justin Fields. They don't have to change the offense very much, and we saw it right there. Here's another look.
Yeah, excellent job outside the pocket, and this is what kind of impressed me. This was his first big run. He's like, bring it on.
I mean, he looked like a veteran there with that confidence, and then he was confident that his running back would get in, and Deonta Foreman does it. 2 yards for the touchdown. That wouldn't be Foreman's last. He would have a big day.
Yeah, that's just some duo blocking.
Yeah, they just moving us off the ball.
Yeah.
So the Bears have a 7-0 lead as we go to the second quarter, 2nd and 6. Hoyer intercepted. He was looking for Josh Jacobs, intercepted by Tremaine Edmonds. Well, take a look. What do you think of that, JJ?
I think the pocket is really clean. There's no need to check the ball down yet. Let your routes develop down the field. Coach McDaniels just called a shot play. You let them develop down the field. You have no pressure. Josh ain't even ready for the ball. Tips and overthrows. EA knows other teams got to have those.
Got to happen.
And then look, they get something done with it. Off of the turnover, they continue to make things happen. That's Mercedes Lewis.
Yeah.
He's been in the league a long time, 16 yards.
18, 19 years. Yeah,
2nd and goal, and Deonta Foreman again.
That 2-1, dude, that dude was.
He had a big day.
He was running hard, man. He was running extremely hard.
So the Bears capitalize off the turnover, 14-0. Here's Brian Hoyer looking to get something going, gets Jacoby Myers involved in the second quarter. First down, Raiders. 3 plays later, looking again. Jacoby Myers hits him this time for 15 yards. Here's another look.
Yeah, outside the numbers, he was pretty successful today on those short throws.
And then on 3rd down, this is the money down, right, guys? They didn't get it done on 3rd down. They didn't get it done there with Michael Mayer not able to catch it. Raiders went 2 for 9 on 3rd down today. So for another field goal, here we go, first field goal. The Bears lead 14-3. Here's the next possession. Tyson Bagent is sacked by Max Crosby, doing what he does 5 consecutive games now with the sack. Of the Raiders' 7 sacks, Max has 6 of them. Going to the second half. Bears lead 14-3. Can we get Josh Jacobs Can we get them going?
Good job right there.
There you go. A nice little 11-yard run. We're thinking second half, they're going to get it going. Something's going to happen here. Josh Jacobs then only gets a yard, but more importantly, a weird tackle kind of extends his back in a funny way.
Yeah, he misstepped right there, got caught right at the right time. He popped back up, though. He'd be all right.
He came back in the game.
Yeah.
The Raiders are forced to punt. So we were hoping to be a good drive coming out. No, didn't start the half strong, and then this happened. Davante Foreman.
That's 1st and 15, though. 14-yard run.
Yep, 14-yard run. And then 2nd and 11, Tyson Bagent.
Just
Again,
bouncing in the
he's got some legs.
Yeah. Showing you his
You know, usually
athleticism.
when you play a young quarterback, you don't let him sit there and get comfortable. We let him be comfortable all game long.
And we didn't tackle. Like yards after catch, yards after contact. That is a perfect example of what went wrong with the defense today as D'Onta Foreman gets a 17-yard gain. Here they are in the red zone. Tyson Bagent. Again, D'Onta Foreman, 3rd time he gets in the end zone.
I mean, he's just running through tackles, though.
Yep, the Bears lead 21-3. Raiders next possession. Michael Mayer gets involved, 11 yards. Brian Hoyer again looking for Davante Adams.
Yep, outside.
Good throw and catch right there.
Yeah. Like I said,
We just got to get more consistent on all the phases. You have a play like that, and then you come back and you have a play like this.
Yeah, he's sacked. And that stalls the drive.
Almost. That was a
Gotta
great
have these,
move.
DA.
He had him. That was like the post corner.
He whooped him off the line.
Yeah.
Whipped him off the line. And we all know this is a play Davante Adams makes
Gotta make
10
that
out
one.
of 10 times.
Yeah.
One of them days, let that one go. But I'll take that all day, every day. You see
You'll
him
take your
one-on-one,
shot, right?
give him an opportunity.
Take the shot. That's
he will
what we're
make
talking
those.
about. Bears, here we go. D'Onta Foreman again. Keeps running. He
See,
was a
we
little bit
can't-
banged up on that play.
We can't have this, though.
They had a game plan, I'll tell you that.
Tyson Bagent, here we go to DJ Moore for 13 yards. They were just moving the chains.
What were the
at
Bears on
will.
3rd down?
Sprint left
They were
off.
61% on 3rd down.
That's not good.
The Bears do settle for a field goal. Cairo Santos' 50-yard field goal attempt is good, and the Bears lead 24-6. Makes it a three-score game rather, and felt like it was out of hand at this point. But the Raiders' next offensive possession, Brian Hoyer, intercepted by Jalen Johnson, takes it all the way to the house. A pick six, 39 yards for the touchdown. By the way, Jalen Johnson was rumored to be on the trade block. Hey, you know, maybe make a call for him, Dave Ziegler. He looked pretty good.
Either
Take a little help.
either his value just went up, or the Bears gonna say, take it
No,
back.
we're going to take it back. And so the Bears win this one 30-12. Here's your final game stats brought to you by Sports Water. And you asked me about 3rd down, JJ. 61% the Bears were on 3rd down. Look what the Raiders were.
Look at the red
2
zone.
for 9. In the red zone, for the 2nd week in a row, the Raiders defense gave up 100% in the red zone. 2 for 2 against the Patriots, 3 for 3. The Bears went in the red zone. But the rushing yards, I think if you could define the game, circle that rushing yards. They could not run the football. 39 yards for the Raiders, meanwhile giving up 173 yards on the ground. And if we want to be a little bit positive, they kept it to under 200 passing yards.
But it didn't
Again,
have to-
so the
didn't-
pass defense.
Well, wait, hold up.
You didn't even let me be positive.
When you don't have to throw the ball because the running game is just right there for you, there's really no need to throw the ball. This is a perfect game plan for a young quarterback.
That's it.
You run, give him short throws, and if it's successful, it's a great game plan for a young guy. You don't really have to threaten him, keep him in the pocket. You kind of dictate the terms and times of the game because you're running the football and you're ahead of the chains and you're ahead and score. Just a devastating loss for Raider Nation.
But let's talk about the Raiders' run offense, because we'll talk about the defense later. But Josh, this is a play-action-based offense, right? What they want to do is establish the run and then play-action pass off of that. When you can't establish a run, nothing works. You can't get into a rhythm, and that's what happened. 39 yards on the ground, JJ.
Yeah, we haven't really established a run all season long with Josh Jacobs, and it's disappointing because this is a dude who led the National Football League. Let me say it again. Led the National Football League in rushing yards last year. Like, Josh Jacobs is one of the best backs in the National Football League. And for us not to get him going, 39 yards rushing. you're not going to win too many games running the football for 39 yards and giving up almost 180 yards. This was a tough outing today because, like I said, this is one of them ones that you circle on the schedule that we should win. We should get a dub. Even if you play bad, you expect to win this type of game going up against a third-string quarterback, whatever it may be, Division II school. And this offense for the Bears was so vanilla, so plain, and they found a way to move the ball, run the ball. Credit to the Bears, but
a lot of missed tackling, a lot of bad technique out there. We'll talk about that with you, Ian.
And a big reason why the running game is not going is because there's no threat of the deep ball. So, if I'm a coordinator, I'm
the box.
I'm bringing 8, 9, 10 guys from the side. I'm bringing everybody inside, Force me to get out of there. Force me to get out of there. And we just haven't been able to do that. So
Harmon and Weston.
I'm just going to let him sing.
They call us here.
We're just going to sing hymns because that's all we can do is pray that this gets better. All right, coming up, we're going to get Jason Horowitz's thoughts on the game.
Come talk to us, Jason.
He called the game. He saw it up close and personal from the Windy City next. Raiders Game Day is brought to you by America First Credit Union, the official credit union of the Las Vegas Raiders. Allegiant, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Low fares, non-stop flights. Book now only at Allegiant.com. Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Coors Light, an official beer of Raider Nation. Made to chill. 2023 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. The Raiders lose this one 30-12 to the Chicago Bears. They leave the Windy City with a record of 3-4, and we go back out to Soldier Field now to talk to the man that called the game, radio announcer for the Raiders, Jason Horowitz. And Jason, it's almost like you don't know where to begin, and credit you for having such a great call and having to do it with such a tough game for the Raiders. Let's start with the defense. This was a defense we've been gassing up for the past 2 weeks. They came in to Soldier Field with the 11th ranked pass defense, and today, just what did you see? They couldn't stop the run, third down, red zone, everything was a mess.
Yeah, the pass defense has really been outstanding the last few weeks. It had been 3 straight games without allowing 200 yards passing, and now it's 4. They didn't give up 200 yards passing today either. But I think what was maybe hidden in that is that the run defense has been a struggle for a good portion of the year, and that really might have been hidden by how well the secondary has been playing and how well the linebackers have been playing in pass coverage. But the run defense has been an issue, and today, when you got a rookie quarterback, they clearly had a game plan of they weren't going to put him in harm's way. Everything was short. Everything was near the line of scrimmage. But when you're getting 5-6 yards of play on the ground, and even more than that in the second half, it makes really difficult for the defense to get stops. And today they couldn't get any stops.
As we're watching the game on TV, we see certain things, but you are calling the game, so you see things before we see it, different than we see it. Calling this game today from the past 2 games that we've got W's on, what was the main thing that stuck out to you today on both sides of the ball calling this football game?
Yeah, I mean, there were massive holes. The Bears' offensive line, we were just talking about the ground game for Chicago. I mean, they had massive holes. And then, every time Chicago got to that hole, they were able to cut back, and there was no one there to help. And so those plays really turned into massive runs that kept the defense on the field for a long time. And then the other thing, guys, I mean, this was a theme, at least the storyline coming into the game was the conversation that Davante had talked about on Wednesday and trying to get your playmakers the football. And obviously there was an emphasis of that early in this game. The opening drive, all 4 passes went to Adams, and I believe he was the only receiver that had a catch until late in the second quarter. But then it was all Jacoby Myers, and there wasn't really a rhythm today. And I think you could probably feel that watching it on TV as well. There wasn't really ever a rhythm for the offense. And on the other side, Chicago was in a rhythm the whole game. And you got a really lopsided score because of it.
Well, Jess, you think that lack of rhythm was the big reason why you weren't able to get Josh Jacobs going? Or is that still a factor of the offensive line having its struggles in run blocking?
I would say, and obviously statistically this isn't going to show up, and you lose 30-12, no one's going to be happy about anything. I would say that they were close. Josh has talked about this, Josh Jacobs that is, he's talked about this a lot this year, particularly the last couple of weeks. He felt like the ground game was close. He felt like the runs there were chances. And I really thought in the second quarter that some of those runs were really close to being big runs, but there was just a little trip up, or, as he cut back into the hole, the Jaquan Brisker came out to make a tackle, but it was just really close to breaking one. And then to start the third quarter, it's 14-3. The Raiders get the ball. The first two plays were both runs to Jacobs. I think he got 19 yards on those two plays. Like, you felt it. But then he got kind of bent over backwards a little awkwardly, and then the drive stalled, and they couldn't get Chicago off the field, and then you have to change your game plan because it's a 21-6 game or 21-3 game, so it's a 3-score game, and you're late in the third quarter. So I really did think that they were close to breaking some of the runs on the ground game, but again, we didn't run for 40 yards today, so it's not going to bear fruit.
One of the things I thought we would see was a response to Tyson Bagent, especially early when he was having success, and he was a little bit showboating early on, which is unusual for a rookie, especially in his first start. And I thought there would be a response from the defense to that, especially that would light a fire under them. Were you surprised to see that there wasn't a response to that? And also, were you surprised to see the rookie have that kind of confidence, some may even say cockiness?
Yeah, it's interesting you asked that, because I was talking to the Bears radio guy, Jeff Joniak, before the game started, and I asked him, what was it like around here this week? I asked him what Tyson Bagent was like, and, he said everything that you saw on TV from the press conference when he met the media is really what he was like. He was cool. He was calm. He felt that he expected and deserved to be here, which, it's weird to say that, right? He's the first undrafted free agent Division II player to start a game in the NFL since the NCAA went to divisions in 1973. So, I don't know how you really could say that, because it's never happened before. But they said he really felt like that. And again, the game plan was what it was from Chicago and company to not have him sit in the pocket, not have him looking for 20-yard pass plays. Everything was short. But even when the Raiders in the first half did get pressure, he extended the plays with his legs. He moved out of the pocket. He kept his eyes downfield. And, he played really well today. It was nothing flashy. It was nothing that was anything that was going to stand out statistically. But he won a football game. Their offense was really, really efficient today. And I think if you're the Raiders, I think that's one of the more disappointing things was you look at the Bears' offense, no Justin Fields, and DJ Moore didn't really hurt you, and yet couldn't get off the field.
And now the Raiders' record against rookie quarterbacks continues to get worse and worse. It's just a trend going back several years now with the Raiders organization. Jason, thanks so much for being with us. Have a safe trip to Detroit, and hopefully we'll have a better outcome in Detroit.
See you guys on Monday Night Football next week. Thanks, Amber.
And guys, I want to point out what he said about Davante Adams, about that kind of gap in usage. We broke down his quarter-by-quarter targets. You can see, first quarter, 7 targets, he has 5 receptions. Even in that first drive, he had 4 catches in the very first drive. Zeros. No targets, nothing in the second quarter. This is that rhythm or lack of rhythm that Jason Horowitz was talking about. And then the third quarter, not only did he only have 2 targets, the first target in the third quarter didn't come until a little over 3 minutes left in the third quarter. So at the very end of the third quarter, and then he comes back, the fourth quarter has 3 targets, and one of them was in the end zone that he didn't end up catching. But the lack of, can we explain the lack of going away? They go away from him in these gaps in using him?
Yeah, it's frustrating. And as I sit up here, it's frustrating because when we talking offense and we talking about one of the greatest minds to ever really coach in this game, in Josh McDaniels, the way he uses his receivers, and really every receiver that has been in his offense has balled out. When you go back to the Wes Welkers, the Brandon Marshalls in Denver, whoever, they all have balled out. So just the way Davante is being used right now, to see all those targets in the first quarter, then 0 in the second quarter. I'm not saying throw it to him every single play, but we have to find a ways to get him the ball and get explosive plays from him. And we're not doing that right now. We're really not doing that with all of our wide receivers. And Josh hit it right on the nose when he was talking after the game. And I know we'll play it later in the show, but it's 0 consistency in all phases of the football team. Yeah. Special teams, defense, offense, it's just inconsistencies. We look great at times, like, Davante, Jacoby, everybody's cooking. Defense is cooking. And then at times, we look like we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah. And there's no deep threat. You've talked a lot about that, EA. You were talking about stacking the box. The Raiders did not have a pass that was 20 yards or more. They didn't. They had 3 15-yard receptions.
And what was so great about last year was Davante showed us all that, hey, I'm a route runner and I can do my thing in the middle of the football field. But he just was a dynamite, big play, explosive receiver last year. And I'm talking about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Last year, this guy did an incredible job of beating the double teams, beating one-on-one, finding ways to stack receivers, using his great athleticism to be able to go up. And it's just a disconnect right now.
Yeah.
It's like we either feed him or you don't see him.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how that's going to fix itself if we don't find a way to be consistent and be complementary on offense.
And it's just the chances, too. I mean, when you watched our quarterback play, like we touched on that Josh Jacobs check down that ended up in the interception. He didn't even let the play develop. You are protected. Josh ain't even ready for the football. You're protected. Last year,
Josh was turned the other way.
year we were waiting for these things to develop, and we were taking shots down the football field, whether they complete or incomplete. We were taking shots, and not just to Davante, to Max Hollins. We was taking shots to that can't really run. Like we were throwing the ball down the field. We have Jacoby, we have Davante, we have Hunter Renfrow, we got the speedster and the rookie, and we just not taking the shots down the field. I don't know why. I do not know why the quarterbacks are not pulling the trigger. Last week, Brian Hoyer came in the game and said, I don't care about nothing.
Yeah,
his first play, he's bombing it there. And then you take no shots today. So, I mean, they're not going to take the people out of the box until we let you know that we could take shots down the football field and open this run game.
I did like seeing him take a shot with Davante Adams in the end zone. Davante all week, we'll take a look at the play, all week, he said, give me the ball. And I think everybody in America agreed with him. Give him the ball.
Oh, my God.
And
Great
this is
move.
unfortunate because he catches that ball. It wasn't a perfect pass.
No.
It was a little awkward pass.
Yeah.
So it wasn't completely Davante's fault. He catches that most of the time, and he didn't. And so it's just disappointing to see that.
Yeah, it is.
No. That's
Gotta find a way.
Davante's fault.
Yeah.
Catch the ball, bro. He whooped him on the route. Catch the ball. That's
Gotta
an
finish.
easy play for 1-7. And I know he sitting on that plane on the way back right now, like, I let that one go. That's easy money.
Yeah, it would have been 21-10
he gotta
at that
make
point with about 12 minutes left in the fourth.
Yeah.
They would have still been in the game. All right, let's take a break here on Raiders Game Day. When we come back, we'll take a look at not only the lack of the Raiders run game, but the lack of a run defense next.
I'm Malachi Johnson. I go to school at Somerset Losi, and I play running back and linebacker. My work in the community is giving toys to children. I gave back to kids for Christmas. It's important because Vegas has been good to me, and I just want to throw it back to them. When I help with the community, it gives me joy and prosperity to myself. It really makes me feel good inside. Thank you, Intermountain Health and the Raiders, for this awesome opportunity. Go Raiders.
Welcome back to Raiders Game Day. All season long, the Raiders have tried to get the run game going, but it's just not happening. And today, they averaged just 2.8 yards per carry on the ground, 39 yards total. Meanwhile, on the flip side, D'Onta Foreman, Khalil Herbert's backup, he had a day to break down both sides. Let's turn it over to JJ and EA.
Appreciate it, Amber. Let's talk about it, EA. Let's talk a little of this run game. We're going to talk run defense, and we're going to talk run game by the Raiders. Right now, we're going to start off with the run game by the Raiders. We are not getting any push up front. We cannot get Josh Jacobs going. If we want to win football games, we got to get Josh Jacobs going. No running back wants to see this right here, EA. There is nowhere to run. There is no lanes to run. And then right here, my coach always told me the linebackers are the tacklers.
Yeah.
So you know what? Block them, right?
Man.
Let the corners be the ones to come up and tackle and leave the running back, the corners, and the safeties. This is a safety. Leave that one to Josh Jacobs.
You
block
can't
the
get
linebacker.
you can't get much downhill than that.
Yes.
You can't get a better downhill read than that right there. So, again, you're right. You want to make the corners, the safeties tackle. You don't want linebackers making moves. So,
Absolutely.
on the flip side of that, though, JJ, man, they came in with an outstanding plan. Let's protect this young quarterback by running the ball outside, getting numbers on numbers. Outstanding job by really increasing the edge and allowing your running back to hit it and hit it fast. So when we go back to it, we'll see the tackle do a great job of helping his guard and then moving to the second level. I help get to the second level, and now my receiver is out doing a great job on our defensive end, outside. And now we can get some runs after contact.
Receivers turn them young running plays into big-time running plays.
And then we're going to go back. This is unfair, and I'm sorry, Amik Roberts, man. You can't get matched up on the big offensive lineman, get pushed out the way. But 2-1, the patience to have it happen in front of you and then push the gas pedal, put your pads forward, and get down. Here's how you have to change that aspect. Bring another guy in the box, another number, so now we're matched up a little bit and we can allow our linebackers to roam a little bit free. So next week, we know we have to bring that safety into the box, so now we have another number, and someone has to beat a block, get off of it, and make a play. Exactly. That's how you get it done there, Amber. So next week, we'll have that strong safety in the box. We won't be having these kind of issues with the Detroit Lions. Back to you, Amber.
Remember, JJ just said something about setting the edge, holding the edge? Take a look. Most of the run plays, most of the damage the Bears did on the ground was to the outside, bouncing to the outside off the left tackle. 23 attempts, average 4.9 yards per carry off the left tackle. Off the right tackle, 12 attempts, 62 yards, 5.2 yards per carry.
That's not good.
They only went downhill once.
Didn't have
between
to.
the tackles.
That's
once.
right.
They didn't have to because they weren't containing on the outside. And not only do you have to contain, how do you contain on the outside? You tackle, right?
Yes.
It's that you tackle.
That's right.
And that didn't happen. And it continues to not happen. Tackling is an issue.
Things show up on film. We're in week 7 right now, Amber. So everything we see on film, the lack of tackling, the lack of edge protection, these things happen, and it's a copycat league. So these teams are continue to, especially if you have a young quarterback, they're going to continue to force the run, find a way to get us in space, our corners, our safeties, guys who are not tackling. They're going to continue to give them opportunities. If they don't make those opportunities, it's again, those same stats are going to continue to pop up. We got to find a way. And it's all individual when it comes to tackling. It's, do you want to tackle?
No doubt.
When you want to risk the possibility of you maybe getting your shoulder messed up, you got to find a way to get down, get dirty, go back to old school.
There's Epps missing a tackle right there. Taking a look, missed tackle. That was an opportunity. It's not easy. Maybe he ran the 100-meter hurdles, and I get it. But that can't happen either. And then
containment.
Yeah.
Not only that,
that's the tough one. Wait, let's back up. That was a tough one. Marcus Peters didn't even try to tackle, and that's when
arm tackling. Arm tackling.
That was.
You got to bring your pads. That's why you wear them. You got to bring your pads. You got to be low. It goes back to those fundamentals you learned in high school when there was 2-a-days and you were out there with the bag tackling, bringing it on every day. We don't do that anymore in the league because the league is about positions, it's about passing game. But at some point, our football team is going to have to go back to old school, even if it's on your own, go back to tackling. Go back to tackling drills on Wednesday and Thursday. That's what football is about. It's about tackling. It's about running. Those kind of things are going to get you wins, and if you don't do it, you're going to lose.
It's the difference between being a dog and not being a dog out there is getting out on the ground. All right, when we come back, Brian Hoyer takes the podium at Soldier Field. We'll hear what the quarterback had to say about the loss. The Raiders lose this one 30-12. This segment of Raiders Game Day has been brought to you by Twitch. Watch, discover, join in.
Look, we got to execute better. Obviously, a few third downs that we didn't convert. Last week was a little bit different. You convert those third downs and give yourself some better opportunities. 2 long drives and get in the red area and sputter out. So I think there's just got to be better execution. That's really, we were moving the ball, and then, get stuck. So that's something we got to really improve on.
Brian, being in the locker room this week, seemed like you guys had a great week of practice. You weren't arrogant, but there was a looseness. You guys were excited. Did you see this coming at all?
Look, the reality is it's the NFL. No matter who you play on Sunday, if you don't come and execute, then, that's what's going to happen. And they came out and played better than we did. And, that's the result that you see. So, it doesn't matter what you do during the week. It matters what you do on Sunday. And today we just didn't execute well enough.
How, emotionally drained or disappointing is it when you don't get those points, especially maybe for your defense, putting your defense in some spots like that?
Sure. I mean, look, every drive's a different drive, and when you're out there and you're stringing together 12, 14, 15 play drives, you want to finish with touchdowns, not field goals. So draining, I don't know. I mean, I think it's more like come to the sideline and, hey, what can we do to execute it better so we're not stopping ourselves when we get down there? Penalties, again, you get down the red area, penalties go backwards. Like, those are things you have to avoid.
Was it a real focus to get Davante so involved early? And then obviously he was kind of quiet after that. What would they do to change things from there?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we had a few plays scripted to get him the ball, and it was working. And then, you just adjust as the game goes on and, try to get him the ball different ways. And, we just, like I said, it's not really anything other than coming down to lack of execution on certain plays that can keep you out there longer, and then you have more opportunities.
That's it.
Time for one big number. The Raiders, now with the loss today, are 2-8 in their last 10 games against rookie quarterbacks going back to 2019. Drew Lock, Gardner Minshew, Brock Purdy, Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, Tyson Bagent.
Who?
Yeah, Tyson Bagent.
Oh, that's the boy today?
That was the guy that went today. I think they did win against Herbert and Tua, though.
That's pretty bad.
I guess we just like the good quarterbacks,
Yeah, we beat the good quarterbacks, lose to the bad ones. And look, you can't say he was bad. You got to give credit to Tyson Bagent. More importantly, I think you give credit to Luke Getsy, the coordinator for the Bears. Yes. He had a great game plan. If I had to put a label on this game plan, I would call it death by paper cut. Yeah. It was tick, 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 little tiny, and killing them with little tiny passes, and then run the football.
Run it.
And they executed it beautifully. And Deontay Foreman is, like I said before, Khalil Herbert's their main back.
Yeah.
It was a backup quarterback, a backup running back. They had a great game plan based on what they saw from the Raiders defense, and they were effective.
You ever hear of a guy named Wally Pipp?
Yes, I do.
Deontay Foreman may not be backup for too long.
No.
That's right. I mean, he came in and he was effective, and
right.
We all
that's what you have
watched the
to
game
do.
today.
Yeah.
He ain't about to be no backup for too much longer.
right.
He hurdling people. He running through tackles. He catching the ball out of the backfield, scoring touchdowns. I mean, 3 touchdowns over 100 yards.
Yes.
That ain't no backup.
Yep.
Yeah. Can we take a look at Tyson Bagent's stats? Did we have that up? I mean, he had, 21 for 29. His completion percentage was extremely high. I didn't do the math yet on it. 162 passing yards. Like I said, that was about 400 two-yard passes to get to that number. He was running when he needed to. Yeah. And he didn't turn the ball over.
That's the main thing.
That's all you ask of a rookie quarterback, and he did what he had to do. So sometimes you tip your cap. I said before, I didn't love the cockiness. Yeah. I think sometimes in the league you come up, you get one good play, you're a rookie. People take note of that. I have to see who the Bears are playing next. They'll take note of that. Yeah, right. But you got to love the confidence, and he had a bunch of his friends and family. And what a good story for him.
Great story.
Out of Shepherd College. Congratulations to him for having a good
pocket, very important on critical times. Not keeping him inside the pocket, rolling him outside the pocket so he can kind of see the coverage. Yeah. He's not there, take it off and run. Like you said, excellent job executing the game plan.
Very simple game plan. All right, coming up next, we're going to hear from Josh McDaniels. He takes the podium at Soldier Field. This segment of Raiders Game Day has been brought to you by America First Credit Union, the official credit union of the Las Vegas Raiders.
First of all, credit to Chicago. They obviously did, everything better than we did today. Coach, play. In all 3 phases, we didn't do anything well enough to deserve to win and take care of the ball. They did a lot better job than we did in that. Run the ball, control the line of scrimmage, got control of the score, played better on 3rd down, you name it, and that's what it was. So obviously we have a lot of work to do and a lot of things to improve. Just not good enough to win in any phase, really.
Do you think there's a reason for what appeared to be non-preparedness? Or
Say it again.
Just not ready to play?
No, I don't think it. I mean, we had a chance to go down there and take the lead, and we stopped them on a 3 and out, and then go down there and I think we had an opportunity for a field goal on the first drive, if I'm not mistaken, and we just didn't convert that. But I don't think it wasn't we weren't ready to play. I thought our guys had energy and juice, and we're excited obviously for this opportunity. And we just like I said, we lost control of the line of scrimmage, and then we got kind of playing the game backwards. And that's really not a formula that has suited us. And we need to figure out how we can do that better.
Any thought on making a quarterback change at halftime?
Look, I don't think it was, everything was all the quarterback's fault. Certainly, I thought there was some missed opportunities that we had, but I thought he hung in there and kept playing, and put us in position to try to go down 21-10 if it was, So, not really. You know what I mean? Not really.
Josh, when you are 24 games in, and the process seems to be struggling. Do you look at changing the process? Do you look at adjusting it, scrapping it? What do you do?
Yeah, look at everything, Hondo. Again, I think we've had stretches where it's been fine, and very competitive. But we need to find some consistency in all three phases. I think we have some of that in the kicking game. But I think we've had stretches where we've played competitively on offense and defense, just not enough. And again, that's you're asking the question to the one who's responsible. So I have to figure out something. We have to figure out something as a staff, as a team, to try to be able to be more productive, more disruptive, more productive on offense, score more points, obviously, So it's just, right now it isn't good enough, and it needs to get better.
What was ultimately the determination to start Brian Hoyer over
we've looked. I've seen him practice every day. You know what I mean? And I've watched him, and I saw Aiden in the LA game, and had an opportunity to really understand what was going on there, and saw Brian last week in the New England game, and so just made the decision to try to go with the veteran guy and try to go out there and play a solid game, and so. I'm not going to second guess that.
I understand that. But is there ever any consideration just to kind of see what you have in Aiden and continue?
Yeah, but this isn't the preseason anymore. You know what I mean? We had an entire week of practice in LA, or most of the week, we had an opportunity to practice them, and there was some good things. And there was some other things that, we needed to work on and fix and obviously get better and improve. So, that's such is life in that regard. When your starter is not available, you're trying to make what you think is the best decision for the team. Again, I don't put this all on one person now. Let's make sure we make that clear. There's a lot of people that can do a better job of what we did today, and that's what we're going to need to do.
There was a real concerted effort to get the ball to Davante early, and then he wasn't much of a factor beyond that. What happened with him?
There's always. I think to put this all to bed, we always try to get the ball to our best guys. You know what I mean? And sometimes the defense plays things that take that opportunities away. Other times they don't. And so we've always been looking to try to do that, and we'll continue to try to do that, So just so happened there was a handful of things early in the game that we had opportunities to go ahead and get to them, and they played defenses and didn't double team them and all the rest of it, take them away. And we moved them around some, but, give those two credit, the quarterback and Tay. They got off to a decent start, and then they started to do some things with the coverage. And again, we got to play the game more on early downs where it's first down, 2nd and 4, first down, 2nd and 4, instead of getting into third down, 3rd and long, as much as we did as the game wore on.
So Josh McDaniels trying to answer questions where there aren't a lot of answers right now. And the answer simply, when you boil it down, was the Raiders weren't good enough today. They didn't execute the game plan. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bears had a good game plan and came out and did that. But I want to go back to the Davante discussion. And I know it feels like you're beating a dead horse at times, but he says there's certain times in the game where the opportunity is not there. When you come out in the first quarter and you're able to target him 7 times and he catches the ball 5 times, you mean to tell me he wasn't double teamed on any of those targets, and then all of a sudden in the second quarter he was double teamed? Help me kind of understand what you're seeing from the defenses and how they're playing Davante to make them get away from him.
Well, yeah, I'll go back to when we used to play the 49ers with Jerry Rice. Obviously, in the first 15 plays, he's going to have 3 to 4 of those plays to kind of get him going on his signature kind of routes. He'd have a slant route, he'd have an out route, maybe a skinny post. That's just to understand, hey, we're going to get our guy going, and then after that, it depends on how defensively you're going to cover him from there in the situation. What's the situation? But whenever the 49ers were in the red zone, you better believe there's going to be some things focused on Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
And that's really where the disconnect is. Yes, you can target him in the first, but in the red zone, we need to have emphasis on him because he's such a dynamic player in that area because of his leaping ability, because of his route running, his hands, all those things. So I think that's where the disconnect is. It's not really about the targets you get in the middle field. Like when you get into the red zone, we were 1 for 6 last week.
Yeah.
We were there, one time this week? Yeah. So those are the things that we're talking about. And I know people are going to say, hey, we targeted him this time, we didn't target him. It's about where you target him, and what's important is scoring touchdowns.
You know, Travis Kelce gets double-teamed all the time. Tyreek Hill gets double-teamed all the time. Justin Jefferson gets double-teamed all the time. Cooper Kupp gets double-teamed all the time. Stephon Diggs gets double-teamed all the time. These coaches continue to find a way to get their players the ball. I'm not saying throw it to Davante every time. I know we have other playmakers on this team, but there should not be a time to where we're over here searching of trying to find a way to get our number one receiver the ball. It should not be hard. It wasn't hard in the first quarter. We should continue to do that.
All right, so how do they get them the ball? How do they move forward? We're going to take a look at the upcoming games and how the Raiders can get better. Coming up next. Raiders Game Day has been brought to you by Twitch. Watch, discover, join in. Credit One Bank, the official credit card of the Las Vegas Raiders. Modelo, a reward for those with a fighting spirit. The mark of a fighter, drink responsibly. Here's what's ahead for the Raiders. Monday Night Football, they travel to Motown to take on the Lions, who lost bad to the Ravens today. Ravens put up 38 points on the Lions, but the Lions are a very good team, especially at home. The Giants, they won against the Commanders today. The Jets are on a bye, and then at Miami in 4 weeks tonight, they're taking on the Eagles. So a big matchup in the NFL, AFC versus NFC there tonight. Looking forward to that one. But they're going to have to stop the run. I think that's where we start right now. How do the Raiders stop the run? Today they gave up 170 yards. They're in the bottom 9 of run defenses in the NFL.
And I wonder how much of that was after contact.
Right.
So that's going to be important to kind of figure out, watch film, understand, like the arm tackling has to go, how to find a way, coaching staff-wise, to get some tackling involved in your practice without getting guys hurt. That's going to be important. It's really the emphasis defensively from here on out.
And that's the biggest thing, too, is tackling, making sure that you get the guy to the ground. And we got to rally to the ball. We cannot expect one person to make the tackle. Oh, Max is going to make it. Oh, Diablo, whoever's going to make it. We cannot depend on that. We have to rally to the football and tackle. I'm telling you right now, it's one thing that we do know. This Detroit Lions football team is physical. And you better believe it's a copycat league. And they are going to run this football downhill at the Raiders, get on the edge, whatever it is. But they are a physical football team on both sides of the football. So we better tackle, we better block, we better do what we got to do to get ready for a real physical game Monday night.
And another big question, who's going to throw the football at quarterback? The reports are Jimmy G could be healthy for Monday. We don't really know. Would you go with Aiden or would you go with Brian Hoyer?
Well, if Jimmy can't go, I mean, we're in a point now where maybe the young guy deserves a week of preparation again and try and have him go out there.
It's a tough situation right here, man. I just keep switching quarterbacks and all that. It's tough. But yes, from what I've seen today, I would love to see the young boy go out there and have an opportunity to spin it.
Higher ceiling, right?
Yeah.
Like it might have an opportunity
and
for
not
an
only that,
upside with Aiden O'Connell.
he could be the future. So,
all right, so he could be the future. The Raiders lose this one 30-12. They are now 3-4 as they get ready for Monday Night Football going up next against the Detroit Lions. For James Jones and Eric Allen, I'm Amber Theoharis. We'll see you right back here for Raiders Game Day in Week 8.